I mean, I stepped on stage twice. I think my last prep was probably the best one. I looked amazing my last prep, but I didn't end up stepping on stage because of horrible like tendon issues with my knees.
What'd you do to the knees?
Well, it got to the point where I was just doing a lot of high intensity stuff. Like I would do a HIIT workout every single morning. Yeah. So like
I did P90 X3 all through high school.
I don't even know what that is.
High intensity.
Really?
Cardiovascular training.
That's what I did since I was 16. HIIT workouts.
Yeah. Jumping around with weights.
Yeah, exactly. And this last prep, it was just, I wasn't really taking care of my joints. I wasn't taking collagen. I really wasn't doing the proper mobility work. And it got to the point where like, if I was like sitting down, my knees would hurt. I wouldn't even have to do anything and my knees would hurt.
Yeah. Awesome. So another episode of Adversity King. Special guest today, Charlotte.
Char.
Help
You
me
can
with
call
the
me
last
Char.
name.
Trecartin.
Trecartin. Let's just start there. What nationality?
That's just English.
Just English.
Yeah, just plain English. There's like a Trecartin
England?
farm. Yeah, out in England.
Okay.
I don't know if it's my family.
This is the first time I've met somebody that's like, I'm pure English. I'm
yes,
like,
well, that's the last name. I'm actually half Polish.
There's a lot of Polish in this area.
There is. I know.
Now, can you speak any Polish?
I used to be able to. My parents made me go to Polish school for like the first like 7 years of my life through high school and then
Here?
Yeah, actually.
So you grown up Illinois?
Yep, grew up in the suburbs in LaGrange, went to Polish school in Westmont, but like also American school, like normal school.
Yeah.
And then graduated from high school down in LaGrange, and then I moved up into the northern suburbs.
Is it LaGrange High School?
Lyons Township is the one that's in LaGrange.
So, and then your parents, did they start here or did they start in England and Poland?
Yeah. Well, my dad was born here. His parents from England. My mom came from Poland.
Okay.
And then they met in a restaurant in one of the suburbs. And then they got together and
what did they do?
My mom, well, she was a financial advisor. She passed away when I was 12. So it's been 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And
do you
then
mind me asking how?
Cancer.
Wow. What type of cancer?
Stomach cancer.
Wow.
But not genetic, which is good. Yeah, so that's good. And then my dad, he was into like design engineering for big like facilities, like the Mars facility, oil facilities, stuff like that, designing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And he retired in like 2010-ish, 2012, right? Like when my mom passed away, so he could be with me and my sister. Yeah. And he's just been like doing trading and stuff, stock market stuff. Yeah. And we just live off dividends. Like it's awesome. You know, like when you get to that point.
So how old is he then?
He is like 65.
And how old are you?
I'm 22. So they had us late.
Okay.
But that was good. And I see that and I like respect that they had us when they were really financially stable. Me and my sister. Yeah. You know, I think it was better to do it that way than have kids in your 20s. You're still figuring stuff out. Until you're, ready to do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, you're close with your dad then.
It's been, interesting, I would say. I think growing up, I was really into like bodybuilding. Yep. And I'm sure you know this.
What got you into bodybuilding?
I think it was once my mom passed away, like I got really focused into other things and bodybuilding just became one of them.
Like an emotional outlet?
Kind of. Yeah. And just like doing anything was an emotional outlet. Yeah. Like clubs and doing really good at school and then lifting and yoga.
Was it pretty hard on you? Like were you pretty like comprehensive at that age?
I understood. I mean, you're going into like 7th grade. Yeah. So if you think about a middle schooler, right, they're mature enough to understand, right, that their parent is gone, that's it. But there's obviously a lot of ways to cope with that. Yeah. And I think how I coped with that was probably like going out and doing as much as I could and not just like coming into my shell, like emotionally, being shut down.
Now, like going out, like, cause I had a kind of a, rough childhood.
Yeah.
But my coping was like being a psycho and like doing a lot of bad things.
Oh, no.
Okay, you're just saying like more like socially exploring.
Yeah, exactly. So just being friends with people, doing really good at school, focusing on like the right things, I guess.
It's so curious. I'm so curious on like how you at such a young age decided to use the emotional outlet in like a positive
I have no idea. It's so odd because
Did you pray a lot? Were you spiritual? Was your dad?
No, not at all.
Was there any guidance for like, did it hit him really hard? Where was he like more reserved?
I never even had someone like emotionally to be able to go to for that. Yeah. Which is even the weirder thing.
No therapist?
Not even after that happened. I had a therapist before it even happened.
Oh, okay.
Like, and that was like at a support group for other kids who had parents with cancer. But after that, it was, okay, I'm going to be middle school class president. Okay, straight A's. Okay, student council. And then high school, same thing. Cheerleading captain, like straight A's, part of all the clubs. And just kind of like taking the time.
So the reason I'm like really like ultra curious is I dated a girl and she lost her mom 10 or 11 and her brother was like 12. He ended up taking his life like 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
And I feel like, and then I worked for a gentleman and his mom died, I want to say cancer or some type of illness related around the same age, like middle school. And like, he's cool now. He's like my best friend.
Oh,
and,
wow.
But he like, I don't think I've ever seen him cry. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Guys, you know, we pride ourselves on like never cry at all. You know what I mean? But
at
the same time, it's more like he actually like, I mean, I can relate to it a lot too as well, but like just absolutely like emotionless. He's like kind of like a weird mute. So I don't know if like, I feel like parental deaths, especially mother for a young male might be a little different than for like a young.
I think I went that same emotionless route. Yeah. Like not allowing that to affect me at all.
Because there's not much that really like messes with me. Like I really don't cry about it. Like I'm honestly kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like somebody will say something horrible and I might like laugh a little. Like not like intentionally. I think maybe it's like I developed it as like a young kid of going through so much shit. Yeah. Of like I just respond with
how you cope with those little things.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Those hardships. Yeah. So I think now I'm 22 and I'm like trying to get a therapist. Well, I've had a couple.
It's so hard to find a good therapist.
I know, but at the same time, it's like you really have to go out there and actually just try them.
I don't think you need to. I think, and this is my personal opinion, obviously you need somebody with some level of experience and education, but I don't think they always necessarily need to have the title therapist or certification of being a therapist to be therapeutic.
But you do need someone to go to on a consistent basis to be able to go through any traumas that you had, because that's a thing that you work through and it doesn't take like, hey, Tristan, I want to talk to you about something. And it's that one time because when you have a friend that you go to, you can't be unloading that like weekly.
And it's hard because with them not being prepared or again, that's where I feel like education is key, where it's like you can educate individuals to an extent of like, here's specifically what you're going to be doing as a therapist. But there's bias with friends as well. Yeah, exactly. So I think that can kind of deter from that.
So now I'm trying to deal with these things from like my childhood. And that was the only thing. I feel like other than that, I grew up very like I grew up in a very white neighborhood, like upper middle class. My school was great. Like all throughout that was perfect, but it was just like this one thing that I went through, and maybe it did shape me in a certain way.
How many siblings did you have?
I have one little sister. Okay. She's 2 years younger than me.
And how did it affect her?
I think harder. Yeah. Because she's definitely more on the emotional side. Yeah. She called like, you know, an empath, quote unquote, you know. I don't really identify with that, but I think she might more so. And I don't know have you heard that term before? Yeah. Where they, you know, they say they're more emotional. They can understand other people's emotions much deeper. So I think for her, it hit her a little bit harder, but I couldn't really relate to her.
Yeah, I'm like a work path.
Same here.
Sympathy, empathy, and it's like, what about us weirdos that really don't care about I just want to work.
Exactly. Yeah. So for her, it was different, but I wasn't there for her. So like basically for the last...
Are you guys close?
We're just finally getting to be friends. Okay. So it took us 8 years.
What was the separator?
I was into lifting. I was doing my own thing. I kind of was like, me, that's it. I'm going to focus on me, do me, and like do what I need to do to succeed. Went to college, didn't really talk to her for the first 2 years, and then COVID happened. Yeah. And then we got a puppy, and it like brought love into our family for the first time in 10 years. It's crazy what like an animal can do. Yes. Right? For a family. So that's when I started to be more open with my sister and my dad, and it took having a dog and me being home from COVID to like force us to all be together, which was so interesting.
What kind of dog?
It's a little mini poodle. Her name is Lucy. She's the cutest thing ever.
One of the hypoallergenic ones, like the feels different than your typical dog fur?
Well, she's just really cute. Curly fur. She's purebred. Yeah. Like she's adorable.
What color?
It's like a little like a reddish copper color. She's just the cutest thing ever.
What did your sister get into any type of sports, or like what were her? hobbies?
She followed a similar path that I did.
Okay.
Cheerleading. She tried some other sports along the way. Lots of clubs also.
Yeah.
But just we were never close. She was 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I think do you have any siblings?
Yeah.
Is there any sibling rivalry or anything like that?
Maybe a little bit growing up, between me and my little sister. But other than
Is it just
that,
a sister?
I got some half siblings out there.
Any brothers?
Yes, but he was like so much older that like,
you didn't.
idea.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. So
There's
with me,
probably a bunch of siblings out there on my dad's side. There's probably like 30,000 like kids out there.
Oh
like,
that's a lot.
They could probably make a Netflix documentary on my dad.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Did you see that Netflix documentary?
I didn't watch it yet,
but it looks good.
One of the guys here was telling me, he was like, apparently this dude was like messing with all the. It was, what are those places called where you go and you donate sperm?
The donation center.
Is that what it's just generally called, the donation center?
That's no, I'm assuming.
Hey, I'm here visiting the donation center. It's like, oh, okay, what type? So apparently this guy was messing with the sperm there for the donors and like making it all his own, right? And so it's like there's like hundreds of kids out there that are his.
So messed up.
Now, what are your thoughts on that? Because I heard there's a lawsuit of like almost like rape. Now, is that?
I don't know. I think it's messed up for sure.
Yeah.
Because people are expecting these kids to be right from a certain sperm, not from random guys. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. I have definitely had considered, donating my own eggs for purposes of, people being able to have a family.
Yes.
I don't know. Rape, that's a little bit much. I think there's a different term for what he did, but not that.
I think I would definitely seek, even from like I'm trying to look at, perspectives, just multiple perspectives. I'm like, as a guy, I probably would like if there was something injected or put into me that I did not know what was put into me and I was told it was something else. I feel like it's like that false advertising. I'm trying to probably go down that route.
Right, exactly.
Like, hey, look, that's false advertisement. Now, wait, when's your birthday?
October.
So
I'm
a
Libra.
Same.
I don't really identify with that though.
I don't study those things.
Me neither. I know a lot of people who do, and they're like, "Oh, you're a Libra."
Yeah, I almost like try to avoid people that like when somebody's like, "What's your zodiac?" Like if a girl ever says it, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna talk to you."
You probably have some preconceived notions about like what I am. That's what I think. Like, oh, they know I'm a Libra. They're probably thinking I act like this.
I feel like they're all the same. It's like today you're going to experience a little bit of happiness, but then you're gonna also be a little sad. I'm like, that's every fucking person.
Right.
I was like, what?
You can have your own life and be who you are without identifying with your zodiac.
Yeah.
I do, however, sometimes with the moon cycle, the full moon, they do say that having a full moon changes how people act.
Yeah.
And it's because...
Do you think so?
Well, think about it. When the moon cycle affects the tide.
Yeah.
That is pure fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And if the moon affects the tide, that means it affects the water. And we're 70% water.
Yeah.
So somehow... I think it does have some sort of pull on humans just because of that fact alone.
So like when it's a full moon, I might be like 6 foot. I can get away with saying that.
Maybe you wish, right? It adds an extra inch or two.
Moon's giving me an inch.
But I think that maybe what it does is just affect our how we are emotionally.
That's a good pickup line. Hey, it's a full moon tonight. I got an extra inch.
Oh God, please don't use that. Please don't.
That's not good.
No, I would not fall for that.
It's like definitely not talking to him.
Yeah, definitely.
So, growing up, you went from high school to college. What college did you go to?
U of I, Urbana-Champaign. So Big Illini, Big Ten. Yeah,
and
it was my only choice. I had no other choices.
So, were there any scholarships or anything with your sports, or you just went in?
No, I just went in. I quit cheerleading my senior year to pursue fitness for me.
I want to get back into the fitness because I've looked at some pictures. You were pretty cut up.
Thank you.
I mean? Like you looked great.
I lifted from the age of 15 and I still lift.
Yeah.
But like I seriously lifted from like 15 to 21.
And what really inspired that? Like was there anybody?
My friend brought me to the gym one day for the first time ever, like our local charter fitness.
Yeah.
And I started on the elliptical, just like a normal girl in the gym.
Yeah.
I went over to like the machine section, tried that out a little bit, saw some guys, doing the weight section. And there was one girl in the weight section who was like lifting heavy ass weight.
Yeah.
And she inspired me so much. And she actually looked like me too.
Yeah.
People thought that we were sisters. And she just kind of was someone for me that was like, okay, I want to be squatting a plate.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be benching like her. So I saw her lifting and I was like, okay, I want to do that too.
What's your most proud moment in your fitness career?
Oh my goodness. That's hard because I wouldn't even say stepping on stage is like my proudest moment ever. I don't know, because competing there were a lot of ups and downs. Part of me wishes that I hadn't competed and that I just continued on my fitness journey, just lifting and doing me, because I was shredded without competing.
Yep.
Once I brought competing into that, it added a lot of, toxicity to the sports. And I don't know if you've heard that before.
One of my top managers here, he competed, and he told me, and even to this day, like, he doesn't like, it's almost like I have to beg him to come work out.
Really?
And
does he not work out anymore?
Not really, but I think it's more from like the toxicity of him, like basically like he was like just yoked, cut up in that clique, but it was like almost like body dysmorphia, but like times 10 or something of like, because he said he reached like this insane like peak where it's like, and it was like for a couple hours or something when you get up, because then your body starts to adjust and change. But like you see what the body is capable of, and you're like, to maintain it is almost it's impossible. I'm gonna show you a picture of him.
Okay, like, do that.
Is that?
It was not the body dysmorphia. It's more so the fact that I was dieting for like 4 years.
Now, he said that was a big issue too, is like if he would go to cheat, he could not shut it off because of the dieting was so hard.
And Tristan, really I was on campus. Oh my God. So he was on stuff too.
Yeah.
But
when guys try to tell me like, and he's really open about it, and he knows a shit ton about it. And he's like, but when other guys are like, no, I'm just going to work hard and get there. I was like, dude, I've worked really fucking hard since like I was like 14, 15 years old.
But you're pretty buff.
Yeah, but I also basically run a little bit of tests.
Do you really?
I just started running a little bit.
No way, nice.
I just said that on the podcast. Nobody knows, but nobody really fucking listens. But I went and I had normal test levels, but I was working out since 15 years old, hardcore, regiment, disciplined. And I'm like it was one or the other. It was like I either get really lean and I'll be 145 pounds, or I can get up to 185 and not be lean and feel slow. And I was like, okay, is this just genetic or this, that, whatever?
How old are you?
23.
Okay.
23. So it's like some people are like, well, you're young. Well, it's like, well, I work through a doctor. So it's like I do quarterly blood work. I work through a doctor. We go over each level. It's I subcontract through a company that connects me with a doctor, and I think I'm doing like 200 milligrams a week.
What I always tell people when they ask me that, because I did CharCharms, I ran CharCharms, and that's all I did. And then I did Clen also, but that's like a female based, whatever. I wouldn't even call it a steroid. But I ran CharCharms, and people would ask me about CharCharms, and people would ask me about tests. And I dated a guy who I literally would like rub his butt after he injected. Yeah. I really understood what was going on. Yeah. In that sort of like bodybuilding, injections, all the different types of steroids. And what I tell people, I'm like, you don't need anything until your natural levels start to decrease. Yeah. And that's when you can start to supplement that. So I don't know about your blood work. Maybe you just want an extra little boost.
I honestly, it's more of I think it's this internal thing inside of me. Like it kind of corresponds with the alter ego, with like that small, because I really don't have much. There's not really any pride there that I exert out into the external world, but internally, like I see myself as like, just a king, like as a killer, and of just like I hold myself to this high standard. I never portray myself that way. I really don't care to, you know what I mean? I don't need any external fulfillment, but for like the standard I hold myself to, and then just from studies, like I do a lot of studying. I listen to a guy who's like More Plates, More Dates on YouTube, Derek.
I've not heard of that.
And he breaks down everything, like all the chemicals, anything natural, anything like supplements and things like that. And I'm like, 50 years ago, the average testosterone levels were twice is what they are now.
I'm not even surprised by that.
Twice. And really just all hormonal levels in general, because it's not like just males are being attacked. It's male and female. And then you throw in birth control and things like that. Like when you attack the hormones, you completely attack the human being. You know what I mean? When you start. So I tell people, it's like, if I am going to go on one side, I'm going to lean towards having higher levels. Right. Opposed to having lower levels, which is just that already.
It's going to make you more of a man, right? Of who we would be.
And it really just, I think people don't realize of like how destructive it is to be less than, you know what I mean? Like on I think every human being should be checked. And I think I'd want to be a step above, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it combats overall health issues to have the higher energy, to just have the higher recovery and things like that.
If anything, I'm glad you're just doing tests. There's no need to branch into any of the other steroids.
Connor tells me all like about, he's like the best is trembolone, but he's like, it's also the the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, it's rough on the liver. He's like, it's absolutely destructive on the liver. I wish I could bring.
You don't want to get the nipples.
Yes.
You don't want to get
oh my God, that looks scary.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool, talking to these guys that like actually know their shit and like connected with doctors and things like that. Of like going over different things with like, I think people should educate themselves more on it, opposed to just assuming everything's steroids. I have some people that are like overboard and they'll just get into everything, and then some people are like just highly assumptive and they're like, oh, steroids. So I'm like, it's not technically steroids, it's testosterone. I mean, it's like taking melatonin and saying, your melatonin is steroid. Yeah, no, so it's like you're just replacing a natural chemical, or you're building up to. Right. But what else did I want?
Back to the fitness thing, the bodybuilding thing.
Kinda. Yeah. I'm thinking of all the things Connor's told me.
I mean, so basically the whole bodybuilding thing, I did it, peak moment, probably deadlifting was it 315? Was that my peak deadlift? I think so. 315 I think that was my highest deadlift.
Is that your most proud accomplishment?
Probably. Like, I'm more proud of that than cutting, because cutting was just such a horrible experience to get on stage. Yeah. Like, and I competed throughout. What did
some of that look like?
I competed my first time my freshman year. And I was in a dorm. I was eating dorm food for my cut. Yeah. So if you think about like the calories that I'm taking in.
Did you count calories and macros, or did you look at the quality of the food?
I had to look at, it had to be calories and macros. So there was a lot of protein powder. There was a lot of supplements. And like, if I had to go get chicken from the local grocery store and cook it in my dorm basement in the kitchen that's communal there, like once a week, and cook like, the big like 10-pound chicken breast that you get at Walmart. Yeah, that's what I would have to do every week just to be able to get my protein without a ton of extra sodium.
Dude, I did tough. When I first started working so not only did I start running a little bit of tests like 7 or 8 months ago. Okay. So if you just look, people are like, you look way bigger. I'm like, well, I did 2 things. I got a nutritionist. So I was like, mix both, and it's like just game over. But I was eating chicken for the first quarter, and I started gagging towards like the end, like that last month.
Can you not eat it anymore?
I haven't had it really pretty much since, unless I like at a restaurant.
What did that to me was fish, tilapia. For my first prep, I had to do 2 meals of tilapia.
How long did you last?
I had to make, maybe it was like 3 months. It was basically until the entire thing. But like, think about only tilapia twice a day. Yeah, and the only thing I could do it.
Now I start the day. I've always done 4 meals with a nutritionist. Okay. I do, I've done ground bison. And I'm done with ground meat right now. I'm like right there.
So what are you eating?
I'm doing a chicken sausage right now, which is probably not the healthiest. But I'm waiting to get some elk. Okay. So I'm gonna go to elk for breakfast. I'll do 6 ounces of elk to start the day, or bison. I'll get into, and then I do I think 100 grams of avocado. Okay. And then I end the day with carbs in the same deal, 250. I eat a lot of carbs right now.
That's good.
250 times 3, I think.
That's good. You don't ever need to be scared of carbs. People are so afraid of eating carbs.
There's this old man though that's ripped at my gym, and he's on keto.
Oh my God. And he's like 70. I don't think that's necessary. I think that's a little bit.
I feel like I've tried like a couple days, and I'm like, I feel like sick. I feel like dead.
I mean, you probably like get really lean. I'm sure you lose a lot of water weight. Yeah. But I think you need carbs. I don't think I've heard the argument for keto. Yeah. But I don't think it's really necessary to do all that. Joe Rogan
is doing that kind of right now, but he mixes fruits, which are high in like natural sugars. Yeah. So I don't know how that affects ketosis.
I don't know.
So you deadlifted 315. Was there anything else you were really proud about, or anything else really hard with like details with the cutting?
No, not really. I mean, I stepped on stage twice. I think my last prep was probably the best one. I looked amazing my last prep, but I didn't end up stepping on stage because of horrible like tendon issues with my knees.
What'd you do to the knees?
Well, it got to the point where I was just doing a lot of high intensity stuff. Like I would do a HIIT workout every single morning. Yeah. So like
I did P90X3 all through high school.
I don't even know what that is.
High intensity
really?
Cardiovascular training.
That's what I did since I was 16, HIIT workouts.
Yeah. Jumping around with weights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this last prep, it was just, I wasn't really taking care of my joints. I wasn't taking collagen. I really wasn't doing the proper mobility work. And it got to the point where like, if I was like sitting down, my knees would hurt. I wouldn't even have to do anything and my knees would hurt. Yeah. Jumping jacks would hurt. Walking would hurt my knees. I'm like, dude, I'm 21. I should not have these knee issues.
Yeah.
So I quit bodybuilding right then and there. I was like, I'm not doing the show anymore. And I switched to long distance cycling because that's a lot lower impact on your knees.
Yeah.
So I literally did not touch a weight for like 3 months after that. Okay. So it's like, it was complete switch 180. And that was like the best decision I ever made because I wanted to be on the road. Like I always was so passionate about cycling because I taught cycling all through high school or through college, and at the end of high school,
like the sweat cycling classes with all the girls.
Yeah, there's
guys
in
it.
Sing
to each other or something? I've always seen them. Like
you should join sometime.
Oh, I don't know. I've
it's
always seen them.
It's great for leg building.
For real, building?
Yes.
I gotta build the legs. I always.
That's what I tell the guys. I'm like, hey, if you want bigger quads, which I know you do.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to take a cycle class.
I like always get torn. I'm like, should I just hit chest or should I just hit legs? Because there's some guys like they got a big upper body, and then there's some guys they just got big ass legs. I'm like, I don't know, but the perfect balance definitely
for sure. Good. So I switched to cycling, and the long distance cycling was amazing. I found a team. It was a Polish team too, and they cycled out of Skokie, and we did like 40 milers, 30 milers, a couple times a week, and I loved it. Then I got back into lifting at the end of the summer.
So how long have you been back to lifting then?
Since last August or September.
And I see you're up early. I'll be up early and I'm like, oh, she's
I'm
at
a morning
the gym
person.
Too.
Yeah.
So when did you've always been a morning person?
Ever since I was in freshman year of high school.
Same.
5 a.m.
It's like when it started for me.
5 a.m. gym, school, 5 a.m. gym, work, whatever it is. Like that's kind of there's times when I've been an afternoon gym. Like I'll have a phase for like a month or two where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the evening gym. Yeah. And then it'll always come back to the morning just because it works out best.
There's so many like kids in the way I'll find. Like when I know. And like,
I know. It's so busy at 5 p.m.
And I'm not that big. How are these little kids? Like, they need to just stay at home and work out until they...
Are you serious?
They, like, earn it.
But also with me and our work schedule, we work into the evenings.
Yeah.
Now, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
So it just makes sense to work out in the mornings.
Yep.
But yeah, I get to the office at like 8, and then I'm at the office until like 8, and then I go home and sleep, and that's it. For most days.
Now, what brokerage are you working at right now?
I am with Equus Financial.
I just heard, speak of Connor again, he had not heard of Equus, and I overheard him doing an interview with somebody. And
really?
They were like, where do you work now? And I think it was Equus, and I think they were in Nebraska, so they were probably at a different office.
Yeah, different agency.
They were just asking around, and I heard in the background, I was like, I've heard of Equus, I've heard of it a few times, but now rings a bell.
It's been good. I just do insurance to bring in capital for my business.
Yes.
Like that's it.
And what all are your businesses? You got them.
I have my CharCharms. Yeah. Yes. So my water bottle accessory business. Water bottle accessories.
This is pretty dope too.
Thank you.
It's detailed. I'll see it on your story, and I'm like, now you have access to a 3D printer.
I used to 3D print.
I was like,
I 3D printed because sorry, you probably couldn't hear me. I 3D printed because I needed a way to figure out how to even make my hooks.
Okay.
Like that was the first challenge. How am I going to create it?
Yeah.
So I got on my CAD software. I learned how to do it all. And I printed out some hooks, and that was the first step. And then I was like, okay, I found a better way to do this. So I don't 3D print them anymore. But
so how do you like build this? Like how's it all come together?
I make the hook myself.
Okay.
And then I put an adhesive on it. I sell the hook separately. I sell the accessory. What's the hook? The hook, it's basically made in a mold. Okay. But I make it. Do you want to look at it?
Where's it hook onto?
It hooks onto my water bottle.
Okay, the heart.
Yeah, but we have a bunch of different shapes. So it's called CharCharms, for anyone wondering. That's my business.
Okay.
I just expanded.
Does the cup come separate?
Yeah. So we sell.
Do you make the cups?
Yeah, but you can put it on any cup. So if you have a blender bottle and you want to attach your AirPods to it,
yes.
Or your lifetime key, or just your your driver's keys, you just stick a hook onto your water bottle, and then you can attach stuff to it.
Is that your favorite product that you have?
My water bottle accessories
that you make, the CharCharms.
That is, it's
or the water bottles itself. Like, which one do you like more?
Well, you can use any water bottle. My idea is water bottle accessories.
Okay.
So accessorizing your water bottle.
Okay.
And that was just an idea that came into my head one day.
How long have you been doing it?
Almost a year, but I launched last September.
Now, have you raised any capital through investors yet?
Nope, not yet. So I've bootstrapped everything. It's just been me.
Just learned that. I went to a tech event yesterday, and they were like, yeah, we're bootstrapping this.
You just learned that?
And I was like, what the fuck is bootstrapping? I was like, come to find out, I was like, I bootstrapped my whole life.
Exactly.
I mean? Like, just take what I make and put it back into my business.
Exactly. There are companies that need investors.
Oh, absolutely.
But for something like this, it's like, all right, let's just get it going. Let's make some TikToks. Let's make some content and people will buy it.
Yeah.
So we're just now getting into some profitable months here, which is good. I say we're, but it's me.
Well, do you have a team? Do you have
No, not yet. I'm hoping to.
Yeah.
You know, as we grow, I'll hire someone for fulfillment and then marketing, because that's hard.
Yeah.
TikToks are hard for me.
I got to connect you with this dude, like, knows everybody in Chicago, and he's essentially a venture capitalist. I'm pretty sure he is like a venture capitalist, but he runs a podcast. I think
I do know him.
You're cool with Landon.
Yes, Landon.
You saw me
from his post, exactly.
Okay, I'm sitting here like, she got to get connected with Landon, and I'm saying it, and I'm like, wait.
I connect through so many people on Instagram.
So have you spoken to Landon more, though? Like, you should set up a meeting with him.
Should I?
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
I will.
Because if he can't point you in a direction, even if I always think, like, more money is better. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't need an investment right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I have people who are on the Chicago Archangels, which is an angel investor group in the Chicago area. So, like, I think when I'm ready, I can take that step.
I hired like an additional 10 or 15 people last month just off a couple extra grand into TikTok promotions.
Wow.
So I think of, like, you never know, a couple extra grand into TikTok promotions, and you double your profits or just your exposure over a month. I think it adds up. You know what I mean? Year over year, month over month.
We'll see. How do you choose, like, what is your favorite way to connect with people, like new people? Instagram?
I like in person. I've had the most long-term success with, like, an in-person, like, hey, how are you? If you're really just kind of going off the vibe.
Okay.
Like, if it's just a unique person, I really get to know them first before I'm even thinking of trying to recruit them.
Oh.
I'm just more like, I'm just like, they're a cool person.
Right.
I'd like to learn more about them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my overall best way to network. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's the relationships that I just find somebody unique and I want to learn more about them and just really genuine. It's like, hey, look, you're a cool ass person. Want to get to know you more, and if there's anything I could do for you because you're so cool, I'd like to do something for you.
Definitely.
So
that's awesome. I like that a lot. I have found just connecting through people. I meet so many more people on Instagram. I don't know why. I don't go to a bunch of networking events. I don't know if you attend a bunch of those, but Instagram.
I gotta get dragged out for them because I hate going down to the city. Do you live in the city?
No, I'm in the suburbs.
Okay,
so I don't go into the city at all.
I hate going down to the city.
Yeah, I know you mentioned you don't like to party, right?
No, I don't like to party. I really just don't like traffic, and I feel like
that's the only thing.
Well,
take the train.
No, I'm definitely not getting on that train. I don't like people traffic. I don't like car traffic. I just don't like waiting in crowds. So I'm kind of like an introvert because it's like I don't want to be around a bunch of people. I don't want to wait, so I'd rather just be like at the office.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
that's fine. You do you.
Yes.
I just don't go into the city because I don't have any need to. At least for now.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
So, college. What'd you go to college for?
Kinesiology. So that's exercise science. So I was in fitness.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is the only thing I know. I'll just go into fitness. Didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. Freshman year, I was like, okay, I don't want to be a physical therapist. I don't want to be an occupational therapist. And I probably don't want to be a personal trainer. And those are like the only options.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just going through the motions of that degree, not really knowing what I was going to do. And then once COVID hit, I had this idea for my business. I picked up my business minor and I was like, okay, business for sure. And then just switched to that. I just graduated, which is exciting, literally last Saturday.
So you got your bachelor's in a business minor.
Yeah.
And then kinesiology.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I loved school. I was really good at it. But once I realized that this degree is not going to mean anything or do anything, it's kind of like, okay, I can get a couple of B's now and like focus on my business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how my senior year went. I've just been working all senior year at home, virtual. I don't really care about missing out on any of like the senior parties or anything like that. It's very like, okay, I'm here to grind and I know I can build something.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really focused on. So, and that's why I surround myself with other people that are building, like you, other entrepreneurship friends.
So are you part of any entrepreneur groups?
Not like specifically.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not either.
Not really. I know that there's I'm just friends with other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's more so that way anyways.
Yeah. I haven't heard of any groups.
I want to put together like a meetup like once a month, more of like a chill
You should. I love meetups.
It's just Landon's down. I want to like involve Landon, and he's always in the city, and I want to go to the city.
Maybe you'll have to. Just once a month.
I like the suburbs.
Then let's do something out here.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Let's drag all of them out of the city.
That's why I'm like, hey, I know there's way more people down here, but just come on out for a day. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's their turn to come into the suburbs.
Your turn. There's a lot of cool places in the suburbs, too. Mm-hmm. There's little places and shops and things like that I found. Like, there's if I do cheat, there's this pink ice cream place, Rainbow Cone.
I have not heard of it.
It's literally right down the road. It's insane. It's insane.
I'll have to try it.
If you like ice cream.
I do.
Know.
That's awesome.
Many people don't not like ice cream. What is your favorite memory up until this point in life?
Oh my gosh. Probably something to do with my first couple sales.
Yeah.
I've really seen, you know how like with bodybuilding, you asked me like, what's the peak of that?
Yeah.
And I can't really pinpoint that. I see so much more success and excitement with making sales, having success with my business. So probably like getting my first CharCharms order, launching my store. Do you drop ship it? No, I make everything. It's all made. It's all.
Well, like, I mean, like, is there a way where like people can click like an ad or something? Cause I really don't even know what drop shipping means. Like, do you just like, my mind is just like people like click a link.
Go to my website. So it's like you're going to go shop for a pair of shoes or Nike shoes.
So it's all like through the website.
Yeah. It's all through me, through the website.
Okay.
And they place an order and I ship it out to them. So that's how it's done. But I just expanded into bong charms. And this is what I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
I love where the cannabis industry is going. I think that there's so much potential for it. I used to smoke a little bit last year.
Yeah.
I don't anymore, but I definitely see a huge potential for where cannabis is going and where marijuana is going. So I was like, I really want to do this. And it's the same thing. I just put a hook on a bong and hang some, a lighter holder or a cute little weed charm or like a little Pikachu or something. So I'm selling wholesale to smoke shops. Soon I can maybe sell to like a distributor or something.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. I think I could even launch a Kickstarter for that. Yeah. We'll see though.
Now, what's kind of like your 5 to 10 year vision for yourself?
Oh my goodness.
Just overall, like where are you going to be living? What's the business looking like?
In
What's
5
your life
years,
looking like?
I would definitely want to be somewhere warm. I'm not meant to stay in the Midwest.
Where? Texas? Florida?
Florida. I want to be by a beach. That's my dream. I'd love to be at a beach where I can run my business, at least CharCharms and Bong Charms. I don't have to be hands-on with those two businesses. I can do my virtual meetings every single day with our team, run the marketing, do what we need to do. So that would be the goal for that. And when it comes to insurance and sales, I love it. And I see myself, growing with that with the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a forever thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a for now
It's a vehicle.
thing. Yeah, it's a vehicle.
A vehicle to fund that bigger vehicle that'll fund the vehicle you don't even know is next.
Exactly. So that's kind of like the long term. I don't even like to think like for CharCharms, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I have an idea one month and then the next month something changes. I'm like, I can't do that.
Are you more into cars or houses? Like would you rather have a really dope car or dope ass house?
Probably a house. I think of cars like, what's the point of your car?
Yeah.
It's to get you from A to B.
Yeah, so like if a guy drives by and like revs his car, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. Not on me, at least.
I don't know who that works on. I don't know if I've ever seen some girl like, oh, that was such a great rev, I'm coming.
Yeah, I don't think the rev works.
I'm on my way.
I think it's maybe a nicer car, right? Okay, I love Porsches. That's like, I cannot wait to get a Porsche or an Audi or a BMW. But I'm not getting that until it makes sense for me financially.
Yeah.
Like passive income, right? It's not my own money because every dollar I make right now, straight into the business.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's how I need, or investments.
Who's your favorite mentor, somebody you look up to, somebody you plug into for just advice, shit like that?
Well, I have a mentor.
Who's that?
His name is Bob. He's fantastic. Okay. I met him through an incubator, which helps small businesses, but he's my mentor. And
what's he do?
He just invests in businesses.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was on the Chicago Archangels team, but his name is Bob Easter. He's amazing. Shout out to Bob because I love that guy. He's great. But he invests in a lot of businesses. So, I just talk to him about CharCharms weekly. And he knows what investors are looking for, even if it's not to the point where that's what I want to do with CharCharms is get investors. But I think having that perspective of where I should be going is good. I think another person, I listen to a lot of entrepreneurship podcasts, Entrepreneurs on Fire, that's just one of them.
Who's a person you look up to the most?
Well, I really, really align with the founder of Spanx. Oh my gosh, her name isn't even coming to me.
But
Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely.
Oh,
that's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She a country singer too?
And no, I think that might be a different Sarah. I'm not sure.
No, I feel like...
But the founder of Spanx had a very similar background, like started in door-to-door sales, had this idea, like hustled really hard, and she just sold her company for like $1 billion.
Jesus.
She's actually on my, like I have like a poster, and it's like all my, what I want to be, and was on the cover of Forbes, and I was like, I'm gonna be that. So
that's dope.
Yeah, I know, that's who I look up to.
So with that, do you have a favorite book to kind of tie into that?
Not necessarily like with Sarah Blakely specifically,
not with her specifically,
but
just
like
in general,
with the whole like entrepreneurship thing and wanting to become a better person. The one book that actually got me started on like all the self-development stuff was such a simple book. It's called like You Are a Badass. I read it on a plane. I
think Sarah talks about that book
really?
All the time. I want to say she talks
it's
about that
book.
It's
a fantastic book. It's the easiest read ever. And you realize like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And that really just got me started in everything. And now I read other self-development books, but I'm much more of a podcast listener.
What's your favorite podcast?
I have a lot. I listen to a lot of those like motivational speech podcasts.
Yeah.
Do you ever listen to those?
Maybe a
where
few.
It's like,
it's been a long time.
They wake up at 5 a.m. You can do this too.
Like Wes Watson or something like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. And they just have a bunch of random people on there and talk like it's just motivational stuff. So I'll listen to that on my way to work and like get hyped up. Yeah. So, but educational podcast wise, anything that has to do with like product startups, entrepreneurs, small businesses, business startups. That's like my go-to because that's what I do. Yeah. I don't really listen to a lot of sales podcasts. Do you?
No, not as much. When I first started, that's all I did was listen to sales books, podcasts, read sales books, read our scripts. So first year and a half, 2 years, but I've been leadership books and self-development books.
I think you're onto that phase now.
Yeah. It's
with the whole leadership thing.
It's been a long time coming with that now.
That's exciting.
Absolutely. Thank you. What about traveling? Do you like to travel?
Sometimes. Yeah, actually, me and my boyfriend, we love traveling. Yeah. So we are going to Tennessee. We just got back from New York. We went to Miami in December. Yep. So it's like once you find someone you can travel with and that you don't argue with.
Yeah.
You can like
that's the number one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone you don't argue with.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we can travel every single month. We can go every other month.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so easy when you can do it with someone that it's easy to do it with.
Yeah.
Where there's no issues. I feel like I'm a little bit more dominant. So I'll be like, okay, we're going to go here and then here and then here. Yeah. I kind of like do the planning and he just like goes along with it. Of course, everything is equal, but yeah, I love traveling.
What's he do?
He's in real estate.
Okay.
So I found we're both entrepreneurs. Yeah. It's very interesting in the entrepreneurship dating world.
Yeah.
But he has his own real estate business. He does wholesale real estate.
Yeah.
So they buy, foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, and then they sell to investors.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. But I met him like almost a year ago.
Dope.
Yeah. It's been awesome though.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, do you have a girlfriend?
I don't. I did have a girlfriend.
Oh. Is this recent?
Somewhat. I mean, we're still good friends.
Okay.
So, but we broke up last June.
Oh,
July.
okay. Oh, so a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was she an entrepreneur?
Kinda. She like makes music.
Okay.
So I feel like that's like an entrepreneur.
I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure like dating in the entrepreneurship world is so different.
Yeah.
You can't just date someone who like does a normal job.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's hard. So I think I was lucky, but when I was dating, it's like my Tinder bio was like looking for guys who work 80 hours a week, to attract those people because that's who I want to date.
I feel like most guys are just stupid. They'll be like, yeah, I work 80 hours a week.
No, I actually got so many impressive guys. Like,
for real?
Yeah, like tech guys.
Yeah.
Like in the city, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I was genuinely impressed.
Yeah, that actually is impressive. Like especially if they were like honest. I feel like guys will say anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just intimidated too. Yeah. Like they don't want to put themselves in that position.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I think if you're a girl out there and you want to date an entrepreneur, you actually have to like put that out there that you want to date an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna get a basic old normal person who works 9 to 5, which there's nothing wrong with.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But if you're an entrepreneur and you want another one,
you
gotta
for
ask for it.
You probably like need another one because they might start getting like mad at you or something that you're working so much.
Yeah, I only see my boyfriend once a week.
Yeah, you ain't gonna.
And we've dated for 10 months. Once a week. That's it.
Yes.
It's hard.
Yeah, But it honestly kind of makes it more exciting, though, too.
I like it.
Yeah, it kind of makes it more exciting. You know, it's because it's like things can get worn out, you know, if you're just like, like those couples, I don't know how they do it if they're like with each other 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get annoyed with each other.
Yeah, I know.
Especially if it's gonna be like a forever thing. Like, you guys got forever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you can calm down a little.
Make me miss you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? What about favorite like restaurants? Do you have any like restaurants you've like fallen in love with?
Not really.
Do you have any favorite like foods?
I like Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Have you ever tried that place?
Yeah, I think I just ordered from there the other day.
It's so good. You have to get the green smoothie.
Oh, see, I like this white chocolate fruit smoothie.
Oh, no, get the Detox Island green. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's healthy too. I know you're probably not trying to cut right now.
Yeah, no. So I'm just, especially with my nutrition, he's like, just eat more. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
It's so good. That place is like my favorite. I won a giveaway for Bubba Coo's burritos. Yeah. They were like 3 free months of burritos. I like entered their Instagram
Dude, I saw
giveaway.
that on your story, something about some burritos, and I was like, are these burritos any good? I love tacos. If I'm going to do a cheat, like I'm going to probably have a cheat meal after this at 4. I'm actually going to need to order that soon. And I'm going to do some tacos just from this Yard House right down here. You should try. Do you like tacos?
Yeah, I love tacos. I like the quesadillas, though. If I go to Chipotle, I'll get a quesadilla with chicken.
I'm trying to think if these are hard shell or
no, it's like a soft, quesadilla.
I'm thinking of the tacos that I get. I'm pretty sure they're soft shell. But they still put it in more of like a taco format, opposed to like the quesadillas, they just... Yeah, they press it.
Yeah, if you ever go to Bubba Coo's, it's actually really good. Yeah. Since I won the giveaway, I feel like I have to plug them.
It. Yeah, you got to use it. You got to plug them.
Guys, go there.
Absolutely.
It's really good.
Do you have a sweet tooth at all?
Yeah,
Desserts?
I do.
What's your favorite dessert?
Like ice cream sandwiches.
Growing up in Arkansas, they had vanilla ice cream sandwiches.
Like vanilla on the outside?
Yeah.
Really?
Like a vanilla cookie.
I've never seen that.
It was fire.
That sounds, cookies and cream outside would be good.
Yeah, that would be dope.
They don't have that, though.
Yeah, that would be dope. One of my favorite candies is that cookies and cream bar.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about?
That was one of my favorites when I was a kid, but I don't eat that anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a big candy, but I am like, I've been really good on not having, I've probably had maybe 7 or 8 desserts over the last 8 months.
That's amazing. I just had Culver's yesterday.
But, this is like my first time dialing in nutrition. You've been dialed in. You know what I mean? Like, I've been able to get really, really lean, like veins through the stomach and everything like that. But I was like 140 pounds. You know what I mean? It's like a girl. You know, so I was like, this is not fun.
I guess not.
As I reflect back, I was like, you don't want to be being 5'10", 5'11", 100. Like that's like really scary. I don't know how, when you look at UFC fighters, it's like the only thing I watched, and they're like my height, and they're like 155. I'm like, looking at me now, I'm like, I do not look that big. You know what I mean? I'm like, how are we the same height, and they're 30 pounds less than I am, 40 pounds less than I am right now.
Yeah.
But I could only get there, and I could eat whatever I wanted. I could only do that by running every day, but also doing a HIIT workout. So you talk about...
That's not even worth it.
Yeah, so it's almost like, I don't even know if it's worth it. Is it sustainable? Because really not, because it's just hypermetabolism plus, being young, whatever it is. But I was like, it's honestly not that fun. Whereas like now putting on muscle mass and I have done like no cardio outside of the jiu-jitsu, which I know is a decent amount of cardio still. But like coming from like running hardcore every day to like where I'm at now, I would still say I got to be under 15% body fat.
That's good.
I would imagine.
That's pretty
solid.
You
would probably know better than I do.
Yeah, maybe.
I have no idea.
Tristan, take your shirt off.
I feel like I got to be under like 15. Because if I stand up and like flex, everything's like, for the most part, pretty cut. And I'm like,
that's solid.
But where I used to be was like I had to run a mile every day. You know what I mean? Where I like it better now, where it's like,
well, now you're on test, so I'm sure that's
now you're
helping
on
too.
Test will just build your abs out.
Right.
That's another thing I get pissed. People are like, oh, you just run tests. I'm like, well, I run 200 milligrams. Connor was telling me he was running like 2,000 or something a week, like 1,000 milligrams a test. Mix some tren in, mix some D-ball in, take this other thing, and I was like, these people don't know like what you could really fucking do. And he had to work. It wasn't like he just took it and just woke up and was just yoked out of his mind. I was like,
you actually got to put some effort in.
It's an enhancement. You know what I mean? It's an enhancement, but it ain't like you're just gonna wake up. You know what I mean? Like my other boy, he just got on test and he looks like shit right now.
Oh my god!
And he just looks like shit. He doesn't work out. I was like, you're not just gonna get on it and just like.
Yeah, all of a sudden have like be ripped and huge.
Like, if anything, exactly. you may want to just have a little more action, but that's it.
Definitely.
Do Do you have any favorite movies? Any hobbies outside of like what you do?
No, honestly, like right now.
What are your hobbies now?
I don't even have hobbies.
You can't really when you're building a business.
Yeah, I mean, every day
in those first phases, you can't really have any
every
hobbies.
day I love lifting, so I'll lift in the morning. That's kind of like, I gotta stay healthy. And
are you a journal lifter?
No. There's only like one journal lifter in the gym when I go.
Yeah, I feel like
aren't.
Every gym, and I get like worried. I'm like, is that the key? But then I look at them, and they don't always look.
Right.
Very
Sometimes
rarely
jacked,
one will be like jacked. He'll have like 3 hoodies on, and I'm like, nah, that's just D-ball.
I do think tracking your lifts is huge. I don't. I just lift to like be healthy.
Yeah.
And like stay active. And I would say if you're running things and you actually want to get stronger, lift your main 3 lifts. Whatever you actually want to get stronger in, bicep curls, chest, and whatever, shoulders, I don't know.
Yeah.
Make sure you're tracking those workouts. And so that means week after week, okay, cool, now I can curl the 50s, or now I can curl the 60s.
Yeah.
You know? So track what actually matters to you. You don't have to track everything. But yeah, right now it's just like lift, work. I'll be at home 1 day a week and just like do random home stuff. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of hobbies right now.
You really can't. I still don't, you know.
Really?
I got jujitsu and movies.
Okay. What kind of movies do you like?
Pretty much action. I'm that typical guy where it's like, if someone's not dying, don't ask me to watch it.
Do you like horror movies?
That is an absolute no.
Really? I hate horror movies.
That's an absolute no.
I can't watch them. I get traumatized.
Yeah,
I have like nightmares.
I have like trauma from growing up. My dad would come home drunk every night and just beat the shit out of everybody with like, and this one time he did it with like a wolf mask on, and like I'm just not good
Tristan,
with, like, yeah, no, like,
that's not good.
Yeah, no, a little bit of trauma. Not as bad as losing a parent. I always tell my ex, I was like, you know, because that's my way of being empathetic with people. I'm like, well, like, could be worse. I'm the worst worst. I'm like, yeah, well, at least, you know, this didn't I'm the worst. That's probably like one of the reasons I don't have a girlfriend. But I'm the worst with emotions. I'm just like, could be worse. Let's go work. Like, that's all I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're making money, I mean, that'll attract the girls
for
a time being.
I don't. I try to actually kind of be like broke. If I'm on Tinder, I'm more like, I don't put my business out there.
That's good.
I don't want the wrong, because you could find some crazy, you know, and then have some Amber Heard situation.
Oh my God.
You know, have you been following that at all?
Not really.
I just get the little news alerts or the podcasts I listen to.
Oh, really? They talk about it?
Yeah, they'll talk about it. Rogan,
I've seen it on
Logan
TikTok,
Paul.
but
we got to shout out Logan Paul too. I don't know if we could get you, dude. If you could check us out, check out CharCharms, Logan Paul. All right. If he shouted, do you know how quick your business would blow up if he shouted
seriously.
out?
We get like a prime charm on a water bottle. That's what I want to do, right?
That would be dope,
right?
Dude.
If you get like a prime logo charm and put that on a water bottle, that'd be so cool.
That'd blow you up.
Awesome.
What's the hardest? I feel like we kind of already opened up with this, but I always like to ask, just to clarify, the hardest adversity you've had to overcome in your whole life.
Even though losing my mom was hard, it's been harder to go through starting a business and being so like isolated. You are so surrounded by so many people because you've built something. But I
always tell people I respect people like you so much more that can be isolated and not, because imagine being in insurance and not being around anybody. You're just making calls all day long. Mm-hmm. That's what building a business is like.
Yeah.
You're just doing all day long with no one there to encourage you. You're just this sucker right here just telling you
it's hard.
This sucks, you suck, you're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, just so many negative things you gotta fight.
Right. So that was it's probably the hardest thing, because I lost so many friends that didn't understand it. And I would like hang out with them and all I could talk about is my business. And that's because that's what's going on in my life. But I've lost really good friends. And like, that's probably the hardest thing that happened to me, because now it's like, yes, I'm building new friends, but losing friends and then being so isolated in this beginning part of the journey is probably the hardest thing that I've had to do. And wins move me forward, but then my mind has to move me forward even if I don't have those wins. So it's tough, but I know that I'll get through it, and I know CharCharms will blow up eventually. Bong Charms is going to be huge, and I know I can be a really good sales agent. It's just like practice. You have to just do the work when it comes to sales. And the more that you're doing it, the better that you get at it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Repetition.
So it's like, okay, 10 appointments a day, let's run them. I'll get 5, you know, I'll sell 2, and like it's such a numbers game, but if I can talk to a couple people every single day, like week by week, I know, okay, Charlotte, like I'm actually getting way better. Yeah. So the confidence builds when you are doing the work, even though like maybe you have 3 days that sucks and everyone like hangs up the phone on you and they don't want to talk to you. But yeah, I'm very nice to people. So I do get like nice shutdowns.
That's the key.
Which is good.
My mom always told me you get more in life with sugar than salt. Just be sweet to people.
Yeah.
Be kind.
That's true.
What else do you want to shout out? Is there anything else on your mind?
Go buy some CharCharms, you guys.
Go, please buy the CharCharms.
CharCharms.com.
Aiden, let's mark down. Let's make a highlight around the CharCharms that when we cut it up, how we do those highlights. That way we can send her one.
That'd be so cool.
Advertising the CharCharms. So if we haven't already, let's make this.
I should have brought you a water bottle.
Yeah, that would have been dope. That would have been nice.
Darn, I'm sorry.
And we'll do another one.
Yeah.
Because I want to build around the podcast over the next 5-10 years of doing
5-10 years?
Yeah, minimum. Like it'll be a lifelong podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I want to do, like checkups like every other year.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
Bring you on like, hey, look, we'll like pull it up and be like, remember 2 years ago we were talking about CharCharms and you had only risen X amount of money and now you're millions. You got on Forbes.
Crazy.
It'll be cool. It'll be like your own documentary. I'm gonna sell you back your own documentary. Like
that would
here's
be
a piece
awesome.
of your documentary. I need 50,000.
That would be. I'll buy it. At that point, I'll be able to buy it. Be like, I want this on film. Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, my goal is to be on Forbes 30 under 30. I don't know if that's one of your goals.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be with how because I want to be a billionaire by 30. So.
Oh, then obviously you'll be on it.
Let me just shoot so high that if I do fall like 0.01%, then I'll hit the million.
Yeah, definitely.
So, well, I actually did hit the million gross.
Yay!
Yes. So
that's huge.
That was the 1099 video you saw. So we're partnership. We did 2.6 million last year. It's my 5th year in insurance. So 1.3 was roughly mine, but every dollar went back into the business. I honestly made more profitable money the year before.
You mentioned that. That's crazy.
Yeah, being a managing director. So every lead, all of this, just everything. Just
costs money, but you're building.
Exactly. The book of business on the back end, I mean, it's built tremendously. Just off that first year, we did incredible things. So exciting.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for both of us.
Yeah, very
excited. This is going to be huge.
It
we're both growing and we're both building.
Yes.
That's the best part.
So, Char,
yes.
I always almost go Charlotte.
You can say Charlotte. It's okay.
I honestly think of that movie, Charlotte's Web.
Everyone says that.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you get kind of pissed?
No, it's okay because that's the only way they know how to spell my name.
Yeah.
Charlotte's Web.
Okay, dope. All right, Char. So, this was dope. This was episode 63, I think.
Maybe.
63, 64, around there. I can't really count. Make sure you guys check out the CharCharms. It was a pleasure having you on. Let's get a pic. Peace.
Thank you.